Hi, greetings. Welcome back. Clive Branson here again. On this short video, I'm not going to make any floats. I'm actually going to tie some hooks together, eyed hooks and Spain end hooks, showing you how to use that knotless knot, and also a couple of loops. There's two ways of doing loops. And the reason I'm going to show you this video is that I've had a lot of discussions recently about hook tires and what sort of tools to use. Well, I suppose I'm from the old school. I prefer to use my hands, and especially, for example, if you lose a tool, especially on the riverbank, and you can't do anything about it, you have to use your hands. And as I say, I go back to the old days when I used to be able to, tie a size 32 hook behind my back as a party piece. I can't do it these days, mind you. And I used to challenge people in my rep days when I was around the tackle shops. I used to say to a couple of the anglers, I said, right, I'll do a competition, see who ties the quickest hook, either by a tool or by hand. And quite often I'd beat them. And the thing is, with a hand, at least you don't get little kinks on the line and things like that you would with tools. And once you've learned how to master it, then, hey, saves you buying one, doesn't it? Anyway, no further ado, I'm going to start off, I think, showing you how to tie a few hooks and then a couple of loops. And I've got one knot in particular, joining two pieces of line together. And to me, as far as I'm concerned, it's the best knot that you can ever use to tie hook lengths onto your main line, or even joining two lengths of line together. It's got the minimum size knot and the maximum strength. So, no further ado, let's crack on. Okay, this is a knotless knot. Basically what I've done, I tied a loop, a small loop, and I threaded through the eye of the hook. So it's sliding. And what I'll do, I'll bring the loop up to the bottom of the shank, and this is where obviously we put our bait. What I now do is twist it once or twice, 3-4 times, coming through the back end of the spade now, not the inside of the spade, the back end of the spade. Pull it tight so the line is coming from inside the hook, and there you've got your loop. And this is what we call a knotless knot. By loosening it, the knot, you can slide the hook up the line or down the line for your hair rig. So that's about it. This is very popular now on commercials. Now I use these on rivers, especially if I'm fishing luncheon meat, pellets, and so on. As I say, so it's rewind the video so you can see exactly how it's done again. Making your loop, of course, either way that you've already seen on the video. Put the line through the eye to the required distance where you want to put your hair rig, then whip it, and then making sure the tail end goes back at the back end of the spade of the hook, so as you can see the line finishes off on the inside of the hook. There you are. That's how to tie a knotless knot on the hook. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to tie an eyed hook, which is almost basically the same sort of principle. What you do, you thread the line through the eye of the hook, coming from the inside of the shank, pull in the tail, so then you create another loop similar to the spade end. Okay, so you've got your loop on the shank of the hook. So again, you pinch it together, and the use of your fingers, I don't know if you can learn to do this, but it's quite simple. After a while, you then twist the line around the shank. In this case, you don't need as many twists. Usually half a dozen is fine. You then bring the tail back through the loop and you push it tight, and again use the thumb and the nail, push it up to the top of the hook, and again just by cutting a little bit of line off the tail off. Okay, again you're left with the hook and the line coming from inside the eye. Again, ideal, so when you're striking, you're hooking into the fish. I'm going to show you how I tie a loop. Again, you form a loop in your hand. There's two ways to do it. Now, the quickest way is simply to grab the loop, make a long loop, and simply bring it back on itself and simply push it through the second loop that you formed. And if you do that twice, wet it, bring it up, and there's your loop ready for attaching your feeder or another loop or whatever means you want to do. So just cut this off a second. Okay, now that's quite a strong loop. It's a very strong loop, but to make that knot even stronger, there's another way of doing it, and I'll show you. Let's get this bit off. Right, so you get your line, you form your loop again like last time. Now instead of going through once, what you do, you bring the loop back on itself, you twist that loop, you grab the loop, and the second loop you bring it back through the loop that you've the first loop that you formed. Okay, if you do that, pull it tight together. See how that's now the knot closing up on itself. Now that knot, just push that knot there is a smaller knot, and it's actually a lot stronger. Through tests, through spring balances, I've tried this knot over the years, and I found that this knot is actually stronger than the other loop that I created. Now, it might be a good idea to actually rewind this and look at it a couple of times, because you may have missed a little bit of the action. But it's basically forming a loop, creating the loop, bringing it back through itself, and then pulling it tight. And again, yeah, just pull that tight. Very strong loop indeed. Okay, here we go. First thing to do is make sure you get your piece of line, of course, your hook length line. You make a loop, you see that? But then get the hook and put it in a loop. So basically, if you look at this, I've made the loop and I put the, if you can see that. Okay, now next thing I do is hold it together, and then I'll whip with the help of my two fingers, my bottom two fingers, gripping the line as I twist the line around the shank and the line together, making sure that when I'm doing this, the line, the main line, is coming from inside the spade. Usually I do about 8 or 9 times. And when I think I've got a reasonable amount of line there, what I will then do is hold the spade and the line together, transferring my hand to the my right hand to the end of the tail, push it through the loop, like so, grip it, and now pull it together, and that then tightens itself up against the actual hook. Now, at this stage now, what I'll do, I'll just with the help of my thumb, my fingernail, I'll push the knot up to the top of the spade and pull tight. It's a good idea to wet the knot at this stage so you don't get no kinks. I know with a lot of hook tires you get like a kink on the top just above the spade, but this method obviously you don't. Now the first thing you'll notice, the line coming from inside the hook itself. So the reason behind this, of course, is when you strike so the hook actually, if you like, goes inwards in towards the fish rather than pull away. Need to cut this little bit of tail off on the end there, so there you go. There's a knot there, and that's one of the best knots ever for tying spade ends.